Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in southern Nebraska, where prosecutors have officially filed charges against a man accused of murdering his wife before turning the gun on himself. Clay County court records show 39-year-old Toby Gray is now charged with first-degree murder and a felony weapon count related to the death of Heather Gray at this home outside of Harvard last week. Authorities say Heather had filed for divorce from Toby just a day before the incident. Toby's still in the hospital, recovering from what authorities say are life-threatening injuries after he was injured from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Republicans working to craft a budget framework that can clear both chambers of Congress. That's after the House passed a resolution late Tuesday with just one GOP dissenter. It includes both tax and spending cuts as well as new energy and border security funding. The Senate plan echoes the additional money, but it's punting on the more contentious items, and now negotiations are underway to reach an agreement. And as Amy Kiley reports, a sticking point could be potential cuts to Medicaid.
We are going to deliver the America First agenda.
A budget resolution that squeaked through the House last night could be setting up a battle over Medicaid.
Medicaid is hugely problematic because it has a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse.
The measure is not a finalized bill. It's a framework for negotiations with the Senate that's likely to get pushback in that chamber. It proposes an $880 billion reduction in health and energy programs over a decade. President Donald Trump says Medicare cuts are off the table. So moderate Republicans say it's hard to make the resolution's math work without affecting Medicaid. Their colleagues across the aisle are more blunt.
And that means not only probably throwing millions of kids off health insurance, it means also making major cutbacks for nursing homes.
The House framework also contains sweeping tax cuts.
They want to pay for it on the backs of seniors who are living in nursing homes. They want to do it on the backs of Meals on Wheels. They want to do it on the backs of hot lunches for kids.
It's true, most seniors in U.S. nursing homes rely on Medicaid to pay for that care. But some Republicans argue changing Medicaid is not the same as eliminating its popular programs.
I'm not going to throw Granny off the cliff and people who really need Medicaid and depend upon that for their health.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Maintain, nourish, and support your health by visiting our Good Health, Good Life shopping tab. You'll find select multivitamins, probiotics, and more designed for you. Make the Good Life even better and promote your health in 2025.
A U.S. industry leader is warning that President Donald Trump's plan to impose a 25% tariff on all imported aluminum could cost 100,000 American jobs. The new tariff rate is a 15 percentage point increase from prior levels and doesn't permit any exceptions or exemptions. It's set to go into effect next month. The CEO of Alcoa, one of the largest U.S. aluminum makers, told a conference the tariff would eliminate about 20,000 direct U.S. aluminum industry jobs. He added that the tariff could eliminate 80,000 jobs indirectly. The aluminum tariff, part of Trump's aggressive strategy to beef up domestic manufacturing. In a bid to combat what they say is a rising tide of illegal drugs, the Madison County Sheriff's Office is on a mission to revive their canine unit program. They got a green light from the County Board of Commissioners this week. The initiative set to roll out this summer. Hanky Hazelton has the details.
Depending on the county budgets and the donations brought in over time, the goal is to buy a Belgian Malinois, which could cost anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. On top of that, there are a few annual costs for training, food, and vet appointments ranging from $3,000 to $5,000. Overall, Sheriff Volk explains why this is so important to not only his office, but also the community.
We're just at the initial phase of this to get the ball rolling, but there's a lot of different things. So we're hoping maybe to get close to maybe $40,000 built up in that fund, and I would get the training done, get some equipment for everything, and then is the school safety. Obviously we don't want any drugs in our schools, and I'm sure every parent and administrator of every school can admit to that for sure. So be able to do that, be able to do programs and just teach our youth and everything with that K-9 too is part of that. And then, Their sense of smell is so many times better than ours. I mean, we can get a little bit, but that dog can pick up on the little scent, and a good trained dog will tell you exactly where something's at.
Although they would like to get the canine program running up as soon as possible, the next state training wouldn't be until this spring, which is a little too early, but if all goes well, Sheriff Volk said with the funds he hopes to have in, they hope to have the next canine in by the spring of 2026. In Madison County, Hanky Hazelton, News Channel, Nebraska.
A Southeast Nebraska college approaching approval of the third strategic plan in its history. And it's standing in a healthy position from an enrollment perspective. Doug Kennedy has more.
An 18-member team has been working for a year and a half to finalize a new 5-year strategic plan at Southeast Community College, the school going into that with double-digit enrollment growth. College president Dr. Paul Illich says enrollment that was once around 8,000 students is now approaching 11,000, following an extensive modernization of facilities and what he calls the school's agility in responding to needs.
But just to give you a reminder, starting back in the fall semester, we increased by 10% in the fall of 24 over the fall of 23. And one of the things that, if you remember, that was particularly important as we transitioned to the new funding model that's directly tied to REUs. And about 65%, or a little bit more than that, of our growth was associated with our current technical programs.
Spring enrollment last year was up 12% over the previous year, with another near 12% increase this spring. The enrollment increases cover both genders, several age brackets, and across all divisions of study. Chairperson of the 18-member group formulating the new strategic plan, Shauna Herwick, said the process has included holding about 25 internal listening sessions among students and staff and about a dozen external listening sessions throughout the school's 15-county service area. Plan components include things like academic and workforce readiness, student access, enrollment growth, financial resource development, and institutional agility, among other things. A draft will go to the school's Board of Governors in March for possible approval then or in April. The new strategic plan would go into effect in July. From Lincoln, Doug Kennedy, News Channel, Nebraska.
Plans for a new roundabout at the Highway 30 and University Drive intersection in Kearney are back on track after hitting a brief bump in the road after a legal hiccup in the bidding process. The city of Kearney said they hoped the project would start earlier with bids already secured, but the Department of Transportation notified the city they only advertised bids for 18 days. That's 2 days shy of the legal limit. The City Council this week unanimously approved a new bidding process ensuring NDOT funding. The roundabout, intended to make a busy intersection safer for pedestrians and more efficient for drivers around UNK's West Campus and University Village. An airport in southeast Nebraska reporting dramatic increases in air traffic as a fuel stop in the middle of the country. Dan Swanson has more.
The Nebraska City Municipal Airport expects a new fuel farm this spring to build on momentum for unprecedented air traffic. Kyle Gruss of Blue Line Aviation LLC said the airport is waiting on arrival of a 15,000-gallon tank for Jet A fuel and a 10,000-gallon tank for avgas, a low-lead fuel for piston aircraft. The self-service fuel farm will increase the airport's fuel service capacity and convenience.
Pilots can come in and get their own fuel. They don't have to have us fuel it for them if they don't wish. They can come in any time of the night and day, weekends, holidays, any time that we may not be here.
Fuel sales at Nebraska City are 5 times higher than before Blue Line Aviation took over as fixed-based operator in 2021. The Corporate Aircraft Association's members voted Blue Line Aviation as one of 5 preferred fixed-based operators in the state, and the association's fuel map highlights Nebraska City as among the lowest prices in the nation.
That draws in a lot of aircraft from all over the country and across the world, actually, that stop in here for fuel.
Gruss said the new fuel farm fits the Nebraska City Airport Authority's vision for growth, and the mid-country location is handy for coast-to-coast air traffic.
They come in and relax for a little while they get fueled, and away they go. So it works out well. People really like it here.
A federal grant is paying 90% of the $1.5 million fuel farm project. From Nebraska City, I'm Dan Swanson, News Channel Nebraska.
And finally, Nebraska's highest waterfall is temporarily off limits because of an ice jam. Casey Wanenberg has more on the closure and what visitors can still enjoy in the area.
This is as close as you can get to the Smith Falls State Park campground east of Valentine for now. An ice jam along the Niobrara River has temporarily shut down access to the park, which is home to Nebraska's tallest waterfall. But despite the closure, visitors still have plenty of natural beauty to take in.
Everybody knows that Valentine is the summer playground.
Regina Osborne is the tourism director of Cherry County, where they've experienced a significant uptick in visitors since the COVID pandemic. Much of that is in the summer, but Osborne is also focused on bringing more people to the area during the colder months.
There's tons of things to do in the winter months too. The waterfalls are beautiful this time of year, and there's lots of fishing and hunting opportunities.
This is Fort Falls, the second tallest waterfall in Nebraska, also just east of Valentine. The 45-foot cascade is located within the Fort Niobrara National Wildlife Refuge.
So if you want to come ice fishing or just see some of the sights in the wintertime, it's actually very beautiful.
Nature's beauty on display, no matter the season. Near Valentine, Casey Wanenberg, News Channel, Nebraska.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.